guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please like, comment, subscribe. If you're interested in watching my videos, then I really appreciate it. This video today is going to be one about my granddad, who is the manager of Deep Purple, Whitesnake. Yeah, it's just facts about what he's achieved in his life, a bit of the behind the scenes of the situation, any facts I have collected from my mum. My mum has a lot, so I might do a part 2 of this, who knows, because we kind of have a lot of information. I was really taken back by the lovely support and comments from the Deep Purple reaction video, so if you haven't seen that one, definitely check it out. It's just telling you more about the things around my granddad, and obviously reacting to the Smoke on the Water song. Today it's kind of like a show and tell. I'm just going to show you bits about my granddad and things we've collected that were his and etc, you know. So firstly, well, I don't really know where to start off. Before he kind of got into the music industry and managing bands, he went to Brighton Uni, which was an art school before I went there. So my granddad went there for the graphics, or I mean, my mum tells me these things and then I completely forget because there's so much information. I should write it down, but anyways, so my granddad went to the Brighton Uni when it was the art school, and then my dad also went to that same uni, but once it had turned to a uni for computer science, and then I've just graduated last year from that same Brighton Uni for knitwear design in textiles. So yeah, that's just a bit of legacy of everyone going to the same education place. So yeah, this book my mum has, and you know, I don't know if it had a cover or if it came like that in the older days, but yeah, this book is called The Country Doctor, and it's illustrated by my granddad. You see there it says illustrated by J.L. Coletta, so that's my granddad, because he was actually pretty good at animation drawing type things. We had a few of his drawings where he did more of like Pink Panther and things like that. I think he quite enjoyed those kind of cartoony things. But yeah, so this is just a book with his illustrations in it. So that's an example. And then some on the front page as well. But yeah, that's just a little thing showing his creativity, where he kind of started getting out his creativity. And then this is also a younger photo of him, a Polaroid of when he was in Brighton, I believe. That looks like he's kind of at the seafront and the big buildings in the back. I hope I'm not wrong on that, but yeah. And then we also have a few other young photos of him enjoying his holiday. We do have some more where they're literally of him way younger, but I haven't necessarily got them to show. Is that him? Yeah, I think that's my granddad when he's a lot younger, if you can see there. That's another one of him. Sometimes my brother ends up looking like this in certain pictures. It's the kind of pose he's doing. My mum said that as well, so yeah, and there's lots of little cute ones. So this is a younger photo of my mum and her sister with, I'm not sure who else in the background. My mum, her sister, and their favourite dog Brutus, who was quite a crazy character of a dog. He was my mum's absolute favourite dog. I have got a photo of my mum with him. I could insert it here. He loved roaming around Brighton on his own. Sometimes my mum would go to school. She'd walk to school in Brighton, and then one time she got to school and it was like a day where they had like a big trays out in the playground with full of custard and stuff. Maybe they're just having some treats. And then Brutus, the dog, had followed my mum the whole way to school and ate majority of the custard. So then my mum got told off and she was told to walk her dog back home. But yeah, he was always escaping, and he just kind of enjoyed roaming free, and he'd often go to the pub in Withdean in Brighton, and there was a pub back then, I don't think it's here anymore, but they would also feed him beer sometimes. He was quite a crazy dog. So yeah, and speaking of dogs, my granddad absolutely loved dogs. Like, that was, I think you could say that he loved them more than people. This was his last dog he had before he sadly passed away. This was Moona, and he had another one called Daisy. Now I forget the name of what they are. I think they're something Shih Tzu, I can't remember. But yeah, this is Moona, his favourite, and it was a bit unfair because he'd let Moona sleep in the bed but he wouldn't let Daisy. And one time Daisy got her tongue bitten by a caterpillar, and then part of her tongue ended up falling off, which wasn't great. But then this was a dog he had before, a while back as well. This was Thunder, and Thunder ended up biting like a little bit of one of my mum's friends once. Not like not aggressively, but like to the point where it was like, you're not play biting. And then these, I think, were my granddad's first two dogs. So yeah. But yeah, there's a lot to show, so I'm not really going in order. I hope that doesn't bother any of you guys. I'm sorry if it does. Yeah, so we have a lot going on here, but so for example, this is a picture of my granddad with his friend Artie Mogul, one of my granddad's dearest friends in America. I think this is in some sort of newspaper. So that's my granddad, and then that's the guy Artie Mogul. I think it's in a newspaper because there's like Whitney Houston down the bottom and everything. Yeah, I think it's just like a photocopy from an old newspaper. And also the thing is that sadly my granddad lost his only sister when she was 19. Her name was Ada, and he sadly lost her when she was 19, and then not long after, maybe a year or two after, he then lost his father. So he was just him and his mum, who we call Nonna because she was my Italian Nonna, well, my great grandma, but I actually can't remember what her actual name is. But my granddad was born in Burgess Hill. Photo of my granddad with Donny Osmond. So that's my granddad, Donny Osmond there. I don't know what they're talking about, but you know. And then that's another angle of the same time. And my granddad was quite a character. He seemed to love dressing in kind of outrageous outfits and like big fur jackets and things, coats. So I have got one or two on my phone that I can put on the screen here. He didn't necessarily know how to like dull down. I think he loved being that kind of spotlight person, but he was also dyslexic, and my mum told me that. I was like, wow, that's really impressive what he's achieved, especially as a dyslexic person. My mum's dyslexic, so I know how much it affects her on the daily basis with just like simple emails and things. This is just a Whitesnake booklet that my granddad had, and then we've now got it. Yeah, I think it's just about Whitesnake. Traces the rise of Whitesnake from the early Deep Purple days to their position as the most successful heavy metal band today. The story brought vividly to life in the words of members of the band and action photographs, many published for the first time. So there's an image, and then it's all in black and white, which is quite strange because you wouldn't get them in black and white these days. I mean, I can definitely insert some paragraphs from here. I could take photos and insert them just so you guys get a bit more information. If you've never come across this book and you're interested, then I'm happy to do so. Like I said, we've got a lot of information. I can always do a part 2 where I get more into detail and things like that. There's another photo. So it says, so for example, one of them says, John had tried to recruit David Coverdale for PAL in 1977. As David recalls, John and Ian were always talking to me about Pace, Ashton and Lord, but I thought the name Clapp might have been a bit out of the window. And in early 1978, David returned the compliment by asking John to come in on Whitesnake. A couple of years earlier, any prospects of John and David collaborating again had seemed distinctly dim. David Coverdale said, John and I went through a weird period at one time and neither of us really understands why. I think it was just that we had a lot of trouble with the last 6 months of Purple. A lot of nonsense went down. Nobody was really seeing each other, and it was lucky if you had 5 members on the stage at the same time. But the hatchet had now been buried. John was vaguely interested in David's offer, but he dithered. So there was a lot going on. I can imagine it can be difficult working alongside other people in such a like pressured environment, I guess, and you know, you have to do so much. I can see how that can be stressful, but yeah, it's really interesting. And this book is by Tom Hibbert. Okay, and then my mum told me that so this is another book called The Butterfly Ball, and on the back it says, congratulations to Roger Glover from Purple Records for The Butterfly Ball. So I think he wrote it or something. And yeah, so it was the Butterfly Ball, in a concert in aid for charities to help raise awareness and funds. So it says the Butterfly Ball was created by top artist and illustrator Alan Aldridge, who by chance discovered William Roscoe's poem The Butterfly Ball in the library of the British Museum in 1971. The poem was first published in 1807. And my mum, so that's Roger Glover in the Butterfly Ball book. And my mum said that her and some kids from Brighton were singing in the background, or the choir of this concert type thing. Yeah, I wrote a note here. My mum said she went with her sister and they took Brutus, their dog, and the dog was sick in the studio. So the Butterfly Ball was one of Roger Glover's solo projects. And yeah, then we've also got a Butterfly Ball record here, which is quite fun. And it's got some interesting things on the back. All about Roger Glover. Sorry about the ring light. And then we've also got this Palpitation by Pace, Ashton and Lord. From out of supergroup Deep Purple came keyboards genius John Lord and powerhouse percussionist Ian Pace. They teamed with vocalist Tony Ashton, one of rock music's great performers, to form the Pace Ashton Lord Band. Palpitation is the story of a band in their search for a guitarist and bass player who will help take them to the pinnacle of rock success. So yeah, I only really knew my granddad when he'd finally moved to Spain for the rest of his life. That was like the one place I knew him at. I have a photo of him, my brother and I, sitting on the deck of one of his wood house at the bottom of his garden. I'm having an ice lolly, enjoying myself, and yeah, so I can insert that photo here. Yeah, I was either like 5 or something. I remember the first time I ever went to my granddad's house. We'd gone to Spain and we drove there, and I was really little. I was with my cousins, and we fell asleep in the car from the airport, and I woke up in my granddad's house and I was just like, what? This is where Granddad lives. But yeah, we enjoyed it. At one point we did move to Spain and we were staying in his wood house, so we did get a nice time where me and my brother were able to get to know him a bit more, and he was a very funny character, you know. So I went on YouTube and I heard someone's interview reminiscing about him on a radio station, and they said exactly what sums him up really. They said, like, on the outside he was quite harsh, and you know, he had that fire in him like Italians do normally. My mum has it in her as well, and but like on the inside he was very soft and caring, and if someone really needed his help he would help you, and that's really inspiring and nice to know. And yeah, he would be quite a joker as well. We'd play this game at dinner time sometimes where we'd say, like, you get €1 because we were in Spain. He said you get €1 if you don't spill food on your top when you're eating, because he would somehow most of the time spill something on his top as well. So it was like a competition between me and him who's gonna finish the meal without spilling something on them, which was quite funny. And yeah, he had lots of funny moments. He had a big character. I think when people met him, they didn't really forget his character once they'd met him. Yeah, this is pictures of Rob Davis, a good friend of my granddad's at the time, in my granddad's recording studio in the garden in Spain. And I think my brother was there. I think I might have been there. I think I was there, but my brother was there. And because my brother was older and he was really into the idea of becoming a rapper, or, you know, he was so in that hip-hop phase, so he Rob Davis was giving my brother advice on writing songs, seeing as Rob Davis wrote Can't Get You Out of My Head but for Kylie Minogue. So yeah, that's quite cool. So this is my granddad in LA with his mum, who was my nonna, if you see there. They were in LA, and my nonna did live in Spain whilst my granddad was living in Spain. I did meet my nonna as well, and yeah, And I'll also insert a picture of my nonna who, when she's younger, and my granddad had just bought her a new mink coat to show his appreciation, I guess, and she looks like she's enjoying it. But yeah, so this was my granddad's Spanish house, like the one I knew him for living in, right? So that was what it looked like at the beginning when he first bought it in Spain, in Marbella. And then he ended up changing it to more of like that, with the big white poles, or they're not called poles, but I can't think of the word, but you know, he kind of vamped it up a bit, revamped it. So this is just an old photo of Deep Purple. That's another one of my granddad in Spain. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a dark photo. How could I? That's a younger version of my granddad again, with his mum. I believe that's his mum. I believe that's my nonna. So there. I'm not sure who that is. That could have been his dad. But yeah. And it's crazy because my granddad did not start working, trying to achieve being a manager in the music industry until he was in his 40s. So it does just show that whatever you want to do, it may feel like it's of the essence, but you can do things at the most insane times and achieve them. So yeah, just, you know, if there's something you want to achieve in life, don't be discouraged. My granddad started at 40 and made quite a success for where he started and how old he was. So definitely it's good to be inspired by stories like this and keep spreading the positivity. So yeah. Also another really insane story to me is that last year when I had to get my appendix removed in the hospital, I was really unwell, and I just released that Deep Purple reaction video to Smoke on the Water, and then once I was in the hospital, I had to go in 2 times, but the last time I had to go in to then get my appendix removed, I had one of those kind of portable TVs that you pay to watch shows on whilst you're staying in a hotel, not a hotel room, I wish, I mean, whilst you're staying in the hospital room. So when my mum left and I had to be there on my own, I'd just like play things throughout the night no matter what, and I just left the TV on throughout the night so I didn't feel alone. And then I kind of half was awake, half was asleep this one night, and it was like really around like 2-3 in the morning, and I woke up to the TV quite near me because I left it there, and then I woke up and I'm not kidding you, it was playing one of the Simpsons episodes, and the Simpsons episode was Homer Simpson smoking some weed, and then after he did, it was singing Smoke on the Water, and I felt like that was a sign from my granddad, like saying he's there watching me, everything's gonna be okay kind of thing. And it was just really crazy. So yeah, that's another thing that was crazy that happened to me that is related to my granddad, and I believe things like that happen for a reason. And I then looked up the episode to check it was actually a real thing, not me daydreaming or, you know, like making it up in my imaginary. It was literally my granddad. No, it wasn't my granddad. Well, it felt like it was a sign from my granddad, but I looked it up and the episode does exist, and I believe it's something like season 13 episode 16 or season 16 episode 13, and I will link that video of The Simpsons in this description to prove to you guys that in that episode of The Simpsons, it literally plays Smoke on the Water. And yeah, you guys can watch that episode and enjoy it as well. But it literally was crazy. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna wrap up with for this first facts about my granddad, Deep Purple manager and Whitesnake manager. I'm just gonna wrap it up here because it's already been quite long, but I can go into further detail and bring more information when my mum finds more and tells me more and I remember it, you know. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, it means a lot to me. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed and I hope you're well. Thank you. Bye guys. Bye.